you. Welcome to the program. Great radio stations across the land, Newsmax TV, iHeartRadio, JoePags.com. It is the Joe Pags Show for a Friday, a free speech Friday. Lots of people want to be heard, and we'll certainly get to you. But not before we talk to Dinesh and Debbie D'Souza. Guys, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, well, we're still doing the happy dance. Now, Debbie, I got a text from you on Tuesday that you were doing your happy dance. You still doing it?
I am still doing it. It's actually higher than before.
I got to tell you, I mean, saying President-elect Trump is something that a lot of people weren't sure would happen. But immediately, and Debbie, I want to talk to you about Venezuela in a second. But Dinesh, I want to start with you. The fact is, you've got Hillary's America, the secret history of the Democratic Party in America. You've got the book that backs it up with verifiable fact that is above reproach. Did you, really think we'd see what we saw on Tuesday, and then take me to what you and I think would agree are the expected paid riots and protests that are going on now? Go ahead.
Well, Joe, I think that the country dodged a bullet on Tuesday in a way that I don't even think most Americans realize. The Clintons are very, very bad news, and simply by keeping them out of the White House and, in a sense, retiring Hillary from politics, that's a huge accomplishment. I did not really expect it because there was such a terrifying array of forces against Trump. I don't just mean the CEOs and the high-tech moguls and the media and Hollywood and all the money and all the organization, but I also mean the fact that it appeared like 1/3 to 1/4 of the Republican Party was in revolt against Trump.
Yep.
So this is like fighting a war with a civil war going on your own side. And how Trump managed to pull it out, I'm still slightly in shock.
It is Dinesh D'Souza. His wife Debbie is with him as well. The name of the book and the movie, Hillary's America: The Secret History of the Democratic Party. I watched this again with my daughter the other day, Gabby, and in watching the movie, we see the history. You know, her mouth was open a lot, going, "Really? Wow, really? That's really?" When you get into the part about Saul Alinsky and the making of a Hillary Clinton and the making of a Barack Obama and the making of the far left-wing, progressive, liberal radicals in this country, and you see how Hillary Clinton is sort of almost ridden into the sunset, which I find odd, and how Barack Obama yesterday, our president, welcomed President-elect Donald Trump into the Oval Office. They talked for an hour and a half. He came out. It was very conciliatory. Are you surprised they're not on the attack today, or did you see this coming too?
Well, I think that they're relying at this point. This is sort of the point where you're sending your guys to Appomattox to make the treaty.
Yeah.
And this is not a time where you can use force. You have to rely on cunning. And I think with Obama, he's hoping at this point to con Trump into keeping some elements of Obamacare. This is his best hope to salvage Obamacare, which is the signature aspect of his legacy.
Right.
I don't think that Trump is dumb enough to go for it. Trump is making some hospitable noises at this point, as he should. But, you know, you just watched the movie again, Joe. The vast majority of that movie remains topical going forward.
Agreed.
Obviously, Hillary will be out of the picture, but the whole story of this party and how they operate. You mentioned these protests. I mean, look, this is so ironic. These are the people who have accused Trump of being not accepting the election result, the Trump people of instigating violence. No. These are the guys who somehow feel that when they lose a free election that they did not expect to lose, they have a right to go burn stuff, beat people up, and this is just a sign that they don't fundamentally accept the rules of our democratic process.
Hey, Dinesh, in looking into what's really happening with these alleged protests, and they're fake, they're paid. We've got buses lined up in Austin, buses lined up that are going to be heading to San Antonio tomorrow, buses lined up, in Portland, Oregon, perhaps. In Oakland, they were just looking for a reason to riot, I guess. But you've actually got these paid for, set up, paid protests, and the media is lying by not saying, look, they were all bussed in. These were not people from Austin, Texas yesterday that were out there marching in Austin, Texas. Is that part of the Alinsky scam? If I act like there's a protest, then therefore it's a grassroots organic protest, although you and I know better.
Well, I think that's absolutely true. And further, even if there were some guys who were motivated to protest, we always have to blame rioters for riots.
Yeah.
But let's remember that part of what instigated this was this sense that the media has now given us for 3 months that the Trump candidacy is somehow illegitimate.
Yeah.
Hillary and Obama also were complicit in this The idea that Trump's not a normal Republican. He's such a racist. He's such a bigot. He's such a sexist. He doesn't even have a right to compete for the election. So this has given these people the sense that this sort of protest is acceptable because this guy is somehow beyond the pale.
It is Dinesh D'Souza. The name of the movie is Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party. Go to Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com, Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com. As we watch this unfold, you've got, Dinesh, you've got the people on the right, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, I think, trying to keep their leadership role. They're kissing his ass. Now you've got Elizabeth Warren, for God's sakes, handing out an olive branch. If you could talk directly to the president-elect Donald Trump, what would you tell him about wariness, hearing from people like Pelosi or Warren?
I would tell him that he should be, at this point, very careful. He should do a lot of smiling, a lot of handshaking, a lot of nodding, but essentially commit himself to very little. I mean, he should recognize that he's an outsider to politics, and the people who are in the game are very cunning, and they have been manipulating the game for a long time. They're going to try to manipulate him, and they're going to try to draw him into the swamp that he's supposed to be draining. So, look, I'm extremely excited he's in there. I don't know if he will drain the swamp. What I do know is Hillary is the swamp. And so to that degree, we've saved that. But Trump, if I were advising him, I'd tell him at this point, just be on your guard.
Hillary Clinton had her shot, and that shot's done. I don't see her coming back in 4 years and trying again. I think she goes, as I said, off into the sunset. She gave it her best shot. Barack Obama's still pretty young, and the word is he's going to stay around Washington, D.C. Does he become the de facto leader of the Democratic Party and the progressive movement, or is there somebody else that we don't even know yet?
I think the Democratic Party is going to pivot to the left, and even further left, if you can say that, because their lesson that they will draw from this election is, look, where did Trump beat us? He climbed behind our wall, our firewall, and he took our working class guys. So we need to listen more to Michael Moore. We need to listen to Elizabeth Warren. We need to listen to Bernie Sanders. And so I see the Democratic Party moving in that direction, which I think is actually good for the Republicans. If the Republicans can compete effectively for working class whites and do intelligent outreach to blacks and Hispanics, this is a way for us to be the majority party going forward.
Well, we saw Donald Trump. He beat Mitt Romney's numbers. Well, he tied Mitt Romney's numbers in white women, which nobody expected. He beat his numbers in Latinos. He beat his numbers in black folks. And a lot of people, if you analyze it, Dinesh, it turns out even with the numbers Barack Obama got in 2012, if you put those up against the numbers Donald Trump got this time, Trump beats Obama from 2012. I mean, that's mind-blowing for the far left. People like Al Sharpton, people like George Soros, people who really thought they had control of these minority communities. It turns out minorities aren't as dumb as those people thought.
Yes, and also I think the ingenuity of Trump's appeal to the white working class can never be missed. Republicans have been trying to win those so-called Reagan Democrats for 25 years, and by and large we've done it by appealing to social issues in the hope and expectation that the social issues will trump economic issues. But the ingenuity of Trump is he appealed to those guys on both economic and social issues, and he got them.
It's Dinesh D'Souza. The name of the movie is Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party. Go to Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com and go find out where you can get the DVD. Get it right now. Debbie, in that movie, you've got a stirring rendition of God Bless America. It absolutely, look, it was a great movie anyway, but without that, I think it misses something big time. That brought the movie home. Well, it does. And the reason why I say that is, you go through that and your head's kind of hanging in your hand and you're going, wow, I can't believe how crappy, one party was in this country and how disgusting they were. And then you sort of bring us back to the nationalism and patriotism, and it was so stirring that it hit you in the gut. Hopefully everybody downloaded it after I had you on last time.
Thank you. Well, it was a song that I sing from the heart because, as you know, I know how valuable our democracy is, and I know how fragile it is. And, going through with my family, through the eyes of my family, seeing what they lost in Venezuela, I was determined that I wasn't going to let that happen here. And, Dinesh and I joined forces, and so this is, super amazing. But, you were talking about the Latino community. We're not done yet. One of our goals in the next 4 years is to actually educate the minority community, especially the Latino community in Texas, because I am determined to turn the valley red. I grew up in Harlingen, so I don't know if you knew that, but
Yeah.
I graduated from Harlingen High School.
It's wonderful.
And I know that area is conservative. They just don't vote that way. But I'm determined to change it. So, Dinesh and I are going to be doing some major outreach for these communities.
Well, I'd like to be a
we're
part
not
of that. I know that I'm not a Latino, but I am Latin. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm
Oh,
Italian.
yeah.
We spoke Latin before you guys did, so I'm an original Latino, if you don't mind. So I would love to be a part of that, because I do hear and I do see all across the land, and especially here in South Central Texas, you've got people who are Mexican in heritage who truly believe that Donald Trump said all Mexicans are rapists and murderers. He didn't say anything
Right.
like that, but that's the spin that was put on
Right.
it. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to believe it. So I would love to help educate people on exactly what the right is, what conservatism is, and how. Listen, it was dodging a bullet Tuesday, was it not? I mean, you actually saw this looking like Venezuela. If she would have won, then Venezuela Part 2 was going to be happening here, right?
Absolutely, and that was my fear. I completely, and I really didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but
Yeah.
I had a horrible gut feeling that it wasn't going to be good. So, needless to say, this is the one of the first times, I guess, in my life that I was so sure of something,
Yeah.
and I was so happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
And Dinesh knows I don't like being wrong, but I was really happy to be wrong.
A lot of people felt
you know,
exactly the
so-
same way that you did. I went in expecting him to win and really hopeful that he would win. So, I'm with you, though. It was going to be a dark day in America. But, Dinesh, I want to finish up here because I got to run. The last question has to be, a lot of people are assuming that the far-left progressive movement is dead. As you said moments ago, not only is it not dead, they're retooling right now to see if, A, they can weaken what he said he would do, and B, if they could steal back the White House and control in 4 years, right?
Yes, they were stunned by this outcome because they were expecting to have all three branches of government,
Yeah.
and they now have the nightmare scenario that they may have lost all three branches of government. So they're determined, and they will make a supreme effort to put Trump outside the margin of acceptability, to make it, in a sense, indecent to support these Republicans. And I think they're going to be more fired up than ever. Republicans tend to vote in elections and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time, that the Trump coalition stays active and stays vigilant.
It is my good friend Dinesh D'Souza, my other good friend Debbie D'Souza. We appreciate you both. Go and get Debbie's version of God Bless America. Download it right now. It's available online to download. And Dinesh D'Souza, just go to Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com. Buy as many DVDs as you can and help to educate your neighbors and your friends and your family. Guys, have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
We appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
Right back at you guys. All right, there you go. Your thoughts on that? 1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. Stay right here.